Hey, what's going on? Welcome to the channel. You're now hanging with the real legend of gaming, but you can call me DRL. In today's NBA 2K mobile video, we will be continuing our tier list series, and this is episode number 3. Previously, we did a tier list ranking for the top point guards in the game and the best shooting guards inside of NBA 2K mobile. So today, as you can see on the screen, we are featuring the small forwards. So let's get into this video and let's get into that tier maker. So before we start ranking, I want to give a quick disclaimer. Number one, this is based off of overall stat average. We look at all the player stats and then we determine which ones should be ranked where they need to be ranked. The small forward position is the deepest inside of the game. So there will be some players that are left off the list, but there are some true gems that definitely deserve to make the cut. So now let's start with the D tier. We're going to start it off with DeAndre Hunter. So if you take a look at DeAndre Hunter's stats, he's got a 5 in agility, a 5 in 3-point shot, and the rest of the stats are pretty much 4s for the exception of post scoring. So overall, again, this 2020 rookies team had a lot of hidden gems. All right, the next is going to be CHUMA OKEKE, another 2020 rookie theme. Check out his stats. For the most part, pretty balanced, right? He's got a 5 in defending, which is high. Got a lot of 4s. His lowest stats is post scoring and layups and dunks, which are 3. But again, this team had a lot of well-rounded players. All right, next you got DeLeBron. Now, DeLeBron had a 5 in shoot-off dribble, 5 in mid-range shooting, 5 in 3-point shot, and then the rest is a combination of 3s and 4s, right? He's got a 4 in post scoring, which is really good for a small forward in this game. That shoot-off dribble is impressive as well. He's got a 4 in defending and a 4 in playmaking, so he has some decent stats. I think what hurts him is the agility and the rebounding, but aside from that, he's still pretty solid. All right, next you got JAYSON Tatum. Now, JAYSON Tatum is one of those cards that a lot of people had the option of crafting in the Onyx tiers. He's not bad. I think he's fairly decent. He's got a 5 in shoot-off dribble, a 5 in mid-range shooting, a 5 in 3-point shot, and a 5 in agility, right? All really good stats. His layups and dunks is a 4. Playmaking's a 4 and defending's a 4. Everything else is a 3. So again, well-rounded, good addition for your squad. Next, you got Jimmy Butler. Now, Jimmy Butler's a beast, right? Incredible defender. His stats in this game are fairly low though, right? He's got a 4 in shoot-off dribble, a 4 in layups and dunks, a 4 in mid-range shooting, and a 4 in 3-point shot. His post scoring is really good for a small forward. His defending is a 5. I will argue that he can get a 6. He's got a 4 in agility and a 4 in strength and a 4 in playmaking. Now, honestly, Jimmy could get a couple buffs, right? I do think that his mid-range could be a 5. I've seen Jimmy drill that jump shot with no effort. All right, next is one of my favorite players in the NBA. I got to be fair with this list, right? Now, his gameplay is a lot better than his rating. I can definitely say that, right? Because I use this guy on my main team. But it's Paul George. Now, Paul George's stats for sure need a stat increase. Because I'm telling you, gameplay-wise, he's one of the most fun players to use. Really smooth, gets a lot of green lights, gets to the rim, jump shot is on point. Huge fan of his gameplay. But his stats are not as good as they should be. He's got a 4 in shoot-off dribble, which is insane. Definitely think he can get a 5 in that. Layups and dunks, I think he should have a 5. Mid-range shooting should be a 5. 3-point shot is a 5, and I think that's okay. Post scoring is a 3. Agility is a 4. I will argue he can get a 5 in that as well. Strength is a 4, which is pretty high for a small forward. He's got a 3 in rebounding, a 4 in playmaking, and a 5 in defending. I also think his defending could be a 6. Paul George could use some stat buffs because I believe he belongs closer to the elite small forwards in the game. Not necessarily like in the elite class that we're going to talk about, but he should be pretty close to it. All right, so now we're going to go into the C tier. So the C tier is going to kick off with the brand new NBA 2K mobile code. Definitely check out my video if you have not redeemed them yet. But that's Vince Carter. Now, Vince Carter, I'll be honest with you guys. I had this video already set up over the weekend, but when they dropped the code and they increased his stats, I had to redo the list to include him. Vince Carter has some solid stats now. He didn't have good stats before. But if you check him out, 5 in shoot-off dribble, 5 in layups and dunks, 5 in mid-range shooting, 5 in agility. I don't think his stats can be changed at all. These are perfect for him. Only thing, maybe his layups and dunks could be a 6, because this is the Raptors Carter. It could even be a 7, but I'm okay with him getting a stat increase right after a long time. All right, next you got Sekou Doumbouya, and if I said his name wrong, I do apologize. I try my best there. But this is another 2020 rookie who has some incredible stats. He's got a 5 in agility, 5 in strength, 5 in layups and dunks. He pretty much falls across everything for the exception of playmaking. This dude is pretty good, and again, this team had a lot of gems. Here's another gem that was also featured in that 2020 rookies team, but most recently was featured in the spring team, and that's RJ Barrett. I made a video about RJ. I still feel the same way, a true gem in this game. 5 in shoot-off dribble, 5 in mid-range, 5 in three-point shot, 5 in agility, and a 5 in playmaking. He's also got a 4 in defending and a 4 in layups and dunks. Aside from that, most of the other stats are 3s. But he's really good, and his gameplay is pretty solid too. Featured him in a head-to-head video, and I had a ton of fun. All right, next we got an NBA legend, Scottie Pippen. I just recently got Scottie Pippen. I was really hyped. I got the pink diamond version. His gameplay is also pretty good too. He's got a 5 in agility, 5 in layups and dunks. Everything else is a 4, right? For the exception of strength. Scottie's stats are pretty right on. I do think his defending is low though. Like, this guy was one of the best defenders in the 90s. He defended the best player on every team so that Jordan could be able to get that extra energy for offense, man. So he should definitely not have a 4 in defending. Scottie should be one of those players that have a 6 or 7. Aside from that, I also think his three-point shot could be a 5. He did have the three-point record at one point for most threes in the All-Star game. So he can definitely drop them. So if Scottie got those stat buffs, that would be incredible. Next up is another player that's gameplay is much better than their stats, and that's Kevin Durant. Now, Kevin Durant definitely needs a pink diamond. That's the first thing I want to say. But his stats need some love. Right? He's got a 5 in shoot-off dribble. This is KD, man. One of the most agile, biggest scorers that you have met in the NBA. He can definitely create shots off the dribble. He deserves a stat buff there. Layups and dunks is a 4. I think that's okay. Mid-range shooting, come on, this is easy money. He should have a 6 in mid-range and three-point shot. Post scoring is a 4. He is good on the post as well. But I think 4 is okay. It could be a 5, but we might be asking for too much, right? Agility is a 4. I think that should be increased as well. Strength is a 3. Rebounding is a 3. I think rebounding could be increased as well. He's a pretty good rebounder. Playmaking is a 4. I think he's also a good passer. And his defending is a 4, which we saw him have a really good season where he was in some discussions for being the defensive player of the year. So KD needs some love, right? He needs a lot of stats increase so that he can be where he belongs, so that he can be closer to the S tier. Now we're going into the B tier. This player here, a lot of people recently got from the franchise team, and that's John Havlicek. Now, John Havlicek is a 5 in shoot-off dribble, a 5 in agility, a 5 in strength, right? That strength stat really carries the stat average, I will be honest with you. He's got a 4 in playmaking, a 4 in defending, a 5 in three-point shot, and a 5 in mid-range shooting, right? He can score, and he's definitely one of the stronger forwards in the game. He's one of the strongest small forwards in the game. Now, his rebound is a 2, and his post scoring is a 3. Again, you need him to score, so he can definitely do that for you. Next, you got a player that we really need to see another version of. And this is the best shooter in the game. Now, please, I know that Steph Curry is, but we're talking about the stats. This is the only player in the game to have these stats. And that's PEJA STOJAKOVIC. He is the only one with a 6 in mid-range shooting and a 6 in three-point shot. He's got a 5 in shoot-off dribble, a 5 in agility. Pure scorer, which is why he was in the Rainmakers team. And honestly, I think this team is coming back, so we might have a chance to get PEJA STOJAKOVIC if you're on a smaller account. I have a mini account, so I'm going to be excited to finally give him a try. And that's Grant Hill. He was one of those gems that nobody was really talking about until he came out with a diamond. If you look at his stats, a 5 in shoot-off dribble, a 5 in mid-range shooting, a 5 in agility, a 5 in playmaking, and everything else is a 4. That's pretty solid. Now, the last player for the B tier probably one of the hardest players to get in this game. That's Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard needs a pink diamond. That's number 1. But his stats are incredible. 5 in shoot-off dribble, 5 in mid-range shooting, 5 in agility, 5 in defending. I really think that his defending could be a 6 or 7 as well. And I think that his 3-point shot could be a 5. Aside from that, though, his stats are on point. Kawhi Leonard is incredible, right? There's not much I can really say about him. It's the claw. Nah, that was pretty bad, but I tried. All right, now we're on to the A tier. This is a special group right here, because they're all NBA legends. We want to start it off right now. So starting off the A tier is Dominique Wilkins. So Dominique Wilkins has a 5 in shoot-off dribble, 5 layups and dunks, 5 in mid-range, 5 in agility, 5 in strength, 5 in defending. Everything else is either a 4. Everything else is a 4. One of the most complete players in the game. This group, all in the A tier, have a 4.6 overall stat average. So these guys are elite. Some of the best players inside 2K Mobile, period. Next, you got Julius Erving. Now, Dr. J is a ton of fun to use as well. He's got a 5 in agility, 5 in strength, 5 in playmaking, 5 in defending, 5 in layups and dunks, 5 in mid-range shooting, and everything else is a 4. 4.6 stat average, elite. Next, you got DaRealLegend. Such a great scorer in this game. And if you're playing domination this week, he is one of the playmaker rewards for a diamond rarity. He's incredible. He can for sure score. He's got a 5 in shoot-off dribble, 5 in rebounding, 5 in playmaking, 5 in defending, 5 in mid-range shooting, 5 in 3-point shot, and a 5 in post scoring. Elite. His lowest stat is a 3 in layups and dunks, but trust me, he creates so many opportunities off the dribble. You're going to be taking jump shots left and right. All right, now we're going into the S tier. These are the elite. These are the best small forwards. And I'll be honest with you, originally, I only wanted to put one player on the S tier, but the other 2 players were so good that I feel like they belong there as well. And this guy's a gem, and I do hope that they make another version of him, and that's CLYDE DREXLER. CLYDE DREXLER is incredible. He's got a 5 in shoot-off dribble, 5 in layups and dunks, 5 in mid-range shooting, 5 in 3-point shot, 5 in agility, 5 in playmaking, and a 5 in defending. Everything else is a 4. Considering that he has not had a new card in a long time, right? This was a historic greats theme. He was an amethyst. So you can imagine how good he was at that time period. And the fact that his stats are still solid just shows that CLYDE DREXLER was incredible. If we can get a pink diamond CLYDE DREXLER, I think the community will be pretty happy. Next is another gem that I talk about all the time, and this is ELGIN BAYLOR. ELGIN BAYLOR has a 5 in shoot-off dribble, 5 in mid-range shooting, 5 in post scoring, 5 in agility, 5 in strength, 5 in rebounding, 5 in playmaking, and a 5 in defending. Elite. Its overall stat average is a 4.8. CLYDE DREXLER's was a 4.7. And he was incredible. So just imagine ELGIN BAYLOR. And last but not least, I think everybody knew this before they even clicked on the video, because I talk about it all the time. Every stream, anytime I'm talking about stats, I find a way to bring it up. And this is the best player in the game. He's the GOAT of NBA 2K Mobile. And this is LeBron James. Now, LeBron James at one point was tied with Wes Unseld and ELGIN BAYLOR as the best players in the game. But then he got a stat buff, and they just put him on a tier all by himself. He's a 4.9 overall stat average, almost a 5, right? Which is like the highest pick that we see mostly given to players. He's a 4.9 stat average. He's just a GOAT. No, he's just elite. He's got a 5 in everything except rebounding. And honestly, we can even argue that he deserves a 5 in rebounding. And some of these stats, we can argue that he deserves a 6. Like playmaking, he should definitely get a 6. But can't raise him anymore when he's on the top already. So that is LeBron James, and that is the end of the video. So definitely, if it's your first time checking out this series, make sure you go check out the point guard video, the shooting guard video. In the comments, let me know what position you want to see left. We still have power forward and center. All right, so again, thanks for all the support. You guys are really feeling this series. I'm having a lot of fun making it. All right, thank you. Peace out.